and welcome to Carnivore Wellness. My name is Rebecca, and today I want to talk about hair loss on the carnivore diet. So a lot of people, when they start carnivore, they are looking for all sorts of benefits, and one of the great benefits many people experience is that their hair grows in and becomes thicker and more luxurious, softer, and even sometimes people's gray hair turns back to their original hair color. Wild, but absolutely awesome, and great signs that the body is healing and getting enough nutrition, and that optimal health is being restored to the body. However, some of us carnivores experience times of hair loss in our carnivore journeys, and I want to talk about that today because it can be very concerning, especially for women, but men too. Men don't want to lose their hair either. So if you've experienced any hair loss, listen out. Maybe some of these things resonate with you and can perhaps give you a little bit of comfort or hope, or maybe even some solutions for your hair loss issues. So in the early days of carnivore, our bodies are going through a big change. There's a lot of shifting going on in that early adaptation period. The number one problem for new carnivores is that they often undereat. That undereating, that can be significant for people in potentially experiencing some hair loss in months to come. So we'll circle back to that. The other thing that happens in those early days is the body is in a process of detoxing from a lot of things that it does not want. So as the body detoxes, we have different detox pathways in our body, through our livers. And also another big one is through our skin. Well, guess what your hair is connected to? Your skin. So in some of that detoxification, you can end up experiencing some hair loss because those toxins are leaving the body, and that can affect your hair growth and even your hair retention. So that could be a reason that you are seeing some hair loss. Now, another thing that is common and happens, is illness. Occasionally, from time to time, we get sick. Some people go carnivore and never get sick again, and I'm quite envious of those people, but those people perhaps don't have two little preschoolers who are going to school and picking up all these germs and bring them home. Whenever I get sick, especially if that illness, is long and sustained, that can result in some hair loss. And, I think it's more noticeable when there is a period of time where a person is really sick, and especially when that sickness corresponds with reduced appetite and they end up not eating as much. Now, certainly when you are sick, there is no need to feast. There is no need to fast. Simply follow your hunger. And a lot of people find that they're just not hungry. That's okay. Honestly, that's the body prompting its own response to help your body get into a state of autophagy so that it can better fight off this illness and boost your immune system. But that does come with the consequence of being undernourished for a period of time, in that you're not eating as you typically would. So that illness can be a problem. And kind of as we touched on, fasting can be one of those. So there are several ways to fast on a carnivore diet, but a lot of people, they'll start fasting without being at a place of full nourishment. And even those who are fully nourished, perhaps their bodies just aren't quite ready for fasting. I know this was my own experience. I'm a big believer in fasting. I think it has tremendous benefits for a lot of people. I'm not anti-fasting. However, for me personally, it was not suitable given my own hormonal sensitivities to stressors on the body, fasting being one of them. So some people find this to be the case for them as well. If they go down a fasting regimen, they could end up overly restricting and in turn see subsequent hair loss. Another way that people can experience hair loss is, and these are all kind of tied together, is in calorie counting, in restricting, in tracking, and trying to get those, their daily intake below a certain threshold for body recomposition reasons, for, stimulating fat loss. And that, unfortunately, can come with the side effect of hair loss. However, hair loss, it can be a sign of what's going on in your body, but it's a delayed sign. So if you're experiencing hair loss right now, think back to what you were doing a month ago, maybe even a month and a half or 2 months ago, because your hair loss right now is not necessarily a result of what you're doing right now today. Your hair loss is a result of what you were doing about a month ago. And I've seen this personally. So I've gone through a time where I got that dreaded virus, that started circulating back in the day. And I got really sick. I wasn't feeling great, didn't have an appetite, didn't eat. About a month later, hair loss. And then, I went through a period of fasting where I was doing, probably more fasting than I should have. Definitely doing more fasting than I should have. I've made a video about that. my experience with overfasting. And one of the big things I noticed in the subsequent months, this one lasted a long time, was the hair loss. And, you know, it didn't happen right away. It didn't happen on the days I was fasting. It happened about a month after, and it continued for quite some time until my body was able to get to a place of renourishment. And then I've actually made another video about a recent caloric restriction. I let the number on the scale get in my head, and I started tracking and intentionally reducing my daily energy intake. And guess what? I'm dealing with a little bit of hair loss right now, but it's a-okay because I know that I am now at a place of restoring my my nutrients and becoming fully nourished again. So I have no fears that it will continue. I know what it's from. It's from me trying to restrict about a month ago. But otherwise, when I've been on carnivore, I have not only less shedding or no shedding even from my hair, but I also have seen a lot of new hair growth. You know, when I go through my hair, I see lots of long hairs that have been growing in over the last several months to a year. And as long as I stay on track with eating enough food and making sure I'm giving my body all it needs, that hair growth continues. So very likely that is what's going on carnivore. Maybe detox, maybe illness, maybe you've been fasting or overly restricting. Again, this kind of all circles back to the number one problem new carnivores face is under eating. It's really important to make sure that you are fully nourishing your body. This is a healing first approach to health and wellness. So you got to be nourished. A few things that you can do to make sure that you are, having good hair growth and maintaining your hair growth is increase your protein. Make sure that you are eating enough protein. Now, for many people, this is suggested as a gram of protein for every pound of your ideal body weight. As you get older, though, you need more protein. You might need, 1.2 grams per pound of body weight, or even 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. So just know that you need protein. Protein's really critical. Make sure you're getting enough of that. And also, circles back to eating enough. Make sure you're getting enough fats. Your body needs enough fats. Hair loss is so low on your body's list of hair growth is so low on your body's list of priorities when it's in the midst of healing things like hormonal, digestive health, mental health, all aspects of your body, reducing inflammation body-wide. It just doesn't really prioritize hair growth. I know we sometimes, from a vanity standpoint, we really want our hair to be a certain way, but it's not necessary for survival. But all those other body functions are necessary for survival. So when there's a limit on the amount of nutrients coming in, it's going to direct those to the necessary functions, and hair growth is going to get the short end of the stick. So if you're experiencing hair loss, I'm sorry for you. I understand. It's very frustrating. I have very naturally fine and thin hair. So what little I have, I want to keep. I get it. When you start to see that shedding, it can be very concerning. Try not to stress about it in the moment. Stress is certainly not going to help. But think back to what you were doing a month ago. And if you're still doing that same thing, perhaps you need to make some changes. But if you've already changed from what you were doing a month ago and you're back to a place of being fully nourished, know that it'll probably take anywhere from a month to about 3 months to resume growth. I think it kind of takes about 1 month to slow that shedding that you see of the hair loss, and really about 3 months to then start seeing a bunch of that new growth coming in your hair. So I hope this has been a little bit of a comfort or a help to those of you who are experiencing hair loss. It does happen on carnivore. It is not that there's something inherently wrong with the carnivore diet. It's probably more user error, and it's that we need to eat more and that we need to make sure we're getting the right nutrition. So hope you found this helpful. Have you seen hair loss yourself? What was happening a month prior? How long did it take for your hair loss to stop? And have you started seeing hair regrowth at this point? I'm very curious. This is a topic that, really is impactful for a lot of people. So it would benefit others for you to comment that down below so that we can all kind of read through and, gain information and insight from one another. If you want to connect with carnivores, that's always very helpful. I've created the Carnivore Wellness Community, and that is a place where any meat-based eater is welcome to come and join and connect with others. Then there's also an entire e-course to help you get started on the carnivore diet and help you in your progression along the way. Lots of good resources there, recipes, meal plans, grocery lists, things like that. So feel free to check that out. Those links will be down below. If you want to step it up and join our monthly commitment membership, you're welcome to do that. We would love to have you. It is a great way to fuel your own transformation and maintain accountability and support along the way. That membership, it includes access to our 3 live Zoom calls each week where we get together, we share our stories, talk with one another, and it's really a supportive space for us to feel encouraged and gain insights and share our stories with one another. And I would welcome you to join that if that feels right for you. Again, that link is down below. Thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning or today. And if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.